Okay, you ready?
Yep, kick off the music.
Do it. And that was the wrong music. Okay, let's do that again. Boom. We are back, Greg.
It's
How you doing?
Time. Doing great. How about you?
I am fantastic. Yes. Do anything good this weekend?
I assembled IKEA furniture.
Ooh, for what?
Basement.
Ah, okay. Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
need a little. The now toddler needs a play area to run around in. So tire
Sweet.
her out. Yeah.
Excellent. As a little track, you just make her run around in circles. Yeah.
Maybe. If it comes to that and that works, yeah. Maybe put a little cheese out there and just have it spin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, she liked big red balls. Just put a couple of those out there. I know that, right?
Yeah. Just for reference, the one in Joe's office.
Yes, I guess we should reference that. Yeah, on Hangouts, Greg's daughter comes and I have a big red exercise ball in my office, and she loves to talk about my big red ball in my office.
Yeah, she calls it out. She spots it in the background all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how about you? Have any been up to anything good?
Not this weekend. Just kind of hanging out. My son's got a big biology midterm tomorrow, so his buddies over here and they're studying for that. They're taking a summer bio. So instead of taking it his entire sophomore year, they're doing a condensed class for 5 weeks. So he's been in it for 2 weeks now, and they've covered 10 chapters in 2 weeks. So it's been from 7:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon. It's just biology. It's been pretty intense. So they have their midterm, which is basically their semester's over, and they're going over and having their final on Monday tomorrow. So
good luck. I did not like biology, and I loved chemistry and physics. And
yeah, my son, he's not too keen on the biologies. That's why he was like, you know what? I'll suffer through it for 5 weeks instead of having it for an entire school year. So
sure.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool.
So I hear you went to WWDC.
Yeah, I did on Tuesday. It was a lot of fun. Obviously I didn't have a ticket. I did go into Alt WWDC, which is the free conference right next door, but I didn't attend any sessions. My main goal of going down there was purely just to meet up with people and have my face be seen so that people didn't totally forget about me, right? So it was successful. I was actually, I kind of ran into Chuck Joyner from Mac Voices, and he actually interviewed me. So had a nice interview. We talked about RapidWeaver and how that ecosystem's working. And I'm not sure exactly when that's going to be published, but I will definitely be, pointing that out on Twitter and Weaver Space and all that jazz about when that interview gets released. So that was fun.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of a strange, odd personal life goal someday. Check that out. I've been to South by Southwest in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
That's an experience. You've never seen so many people everywhere.
I've never. That's actually one of my things. I it's on my bucket list of things to go to is South by Southwest.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of great music. A lot of good food, bars. It's a good time. But
Sweet.
Right up there. I think I want to check out a WWDC someday. So I'll let you know if I'm ever in your neck of the woods.
Yeah. I met up with, there's actually quite a few developers that are customers. So I met up with a few of them and chit-chatted and talked about, things that they're using RapidWeaver for and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. And, updates to all their apps and, and whatnot. So met up with Dave Hamilton over at Mac Observer. He's a nice guy. And so, yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then, Brian Webster, the developer, Peerless Edit Pro, had lunch with him. He's a great guy.
Yeah,
so,
he is. Yeah, he makes some good software.
Yeah, I had to give him some shame. I had to shame him to make him ship an update for Peerless Edit Pro for 10.14 because it currently crashes. So, Peerless Edit Pro is kind of like his for fun app and that he does. And but I wanted to give a little pressure on him. So here's some more pressure on the podcast, Brian, if you are listening.
all those 5,000 downloads. If he's one of 5,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, that's it. Yes. Good to point it out. We have crossed 5,000 downloads, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Yes. Very cool. We should have
this is your chance. This is your chance. Get that music cued.
Oh, let's see if I pick a right one. Oh, that was a bad one. Oh man, what was that? Hold on, let me find a different one. Let's see. Oh, that's the drum roll. Man, that was wrong.
Oh, you're tripping.
Oh, that's the joke drum. I got to figure out some. I gotta memorize this little soundboard so we get better music and I can cue it up whenever I need it. That was just shame on me.
Yeah. Come prepared next time, Joe.
I gotta be prepared. Damn it, just slap me.
Yeah. So you want to get down to business? Yeah.
So today we're just going to be talking a little bit about WWDC, sort of kind of what we liked about it and how it affects Rapid Review users and web users and whatnot. We thought we'd obviously put a spin on that so you guys can know how it will affect you and all that jazz. So first up, I guess we'll just kind of walk through Mac, iOS, watchOS, tvOS, and then some specific stuff for Safari and whatnot to talk about how it's going to affect us. So you want to kick off, Greg?
Yeah, sure. I was going to ask you, what's your general overall impression of WWDC? Did you think it went well? You think it was successful? You think
I thought it was great.
Kind of hoping for?
I thought it was great. Yeah. It was if we notice, there were 0 hardware announcements. It was pure software. So the keynote was seriously I think it was an hour and 40 minutes of pure software. It was actually really good. I thought, we got a much more bigger in-depth view of the software that is going to come. And they even gave us some sneak peeks of stuff that's coming in 2019, which they normally never do, right? Another thing that I thought was interesting was there were almost no leaks before WW, right? For the past few years, Apple kind of was getting leaks all over the place in terms of we pretty much knew what was coming, within a week or 2 weeks of the event, right? And really up till that day, we really didn't know much. Except for, I think Apple purposely leaked a dark mode for Xcode and stuff like that, right? Obviously that was, I think, purposely leaked. It was, video on an Apple server from what I understand or whatever, right? But it was very, very tight-lipped this year. So I thought that was good. And in terms of the software, I think it was kind of one of those, High Sierra is supposed to be one of the Snow Leopard, or the snow releases, the S releases, right? And I think we got another one where there weren't a ton of new things coming, right? It was more of a refinement release. There's better and things were refined. I think we're going for another refinement release, and I'm really happy with that. Not any groundbreaking changes. Or new things that are gonna just kill everything off. I thought it was really good. So yeah, all in all, I had thumbs up. I do have both iOS 12 and Mojave installed already on 2 devices, so I'm stoked about both. How about you, Greg?
Yeah, I generally feel the same. My only gripe is there wasn't enough focus on the developers. I think it's the same week. Apple announces memojis or whatever, and Microsoft goes out and buys GitHub. It's
well, you kind of got to think that the main WWDC keynote is Apple's one main event a year where they do a big, huge, major keynote presentation, right? So I think that keynote isn't for developers. While it's at a developer conference, developers aren't its main target, right? Outside of the whole media thing, there's the State of the Union at WWDC, which is the developer keynote, basically, right? Now, I did watch that. I think you said that you have that queued up to watch.
I do have it queued up to watch, so no spoilers, please.
No spoilers, yeah.
Well, you can go ahead. It's
I did watch the State of the Union. I thought it was very cool. They They didn't talk about emojis at all in the State of the Union, right? It was all, they focused on a few of the main features and dived a little bit further down into how that affects developers and what developers need to do. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Like one example is like the dark mode. Something that was really cool is that it's not just purely black, right? Basically what dark mode does is it analyzes your desktop wallpaper, and then it gets a color, a main color, and then mixes that color with the dark gray, and then that creates the dark mode color, right? So like they showed side by side like a wallpaper that was more reddish or orange, and then they had them like one that was more dark, and then they put them side by side. You can see the different colors of the windows, because it mixed the colors of your wallpaper with the actual colors of the window. It's pretty cool. And obviously there's all kinds of APIs that developers can use to obviously use those colors, right, too. So developers and third-party apps, if they have custom views and whatnot, can actually, utilize those colors and those APIs as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to dark mode and that whole slew of new window Chrome. I think.
Yeah, I love the menu bar in dark mode. Mm-hmm. It's different than the dark mode current that you can have like a dark menu bar now, but that's just like a black, or very dark gray menu bar with white icons. The new one is very different, and I love it. It's really good. I have dark mode running on I have a 2016 MacBook Pro with touch bar and the keyboard and all that jazz. No hating. I love that laptop. For everyone that doesn't, sorry. I don't know. You're crazy. I love the laptop. Sorry. So yeah, touch bars, great. Is it groundbreaking? No. Still love the laptop. So for all you haters out there, sorry. It's a winner for me.
All right. So more specific, I guess. What do you want to talk about first?
So macOS 10. So obviously we talked about dark mode, right? And dark mode is really cool. Obviously not every app that I have installed, because I do have it installed. Obviously, if it's using custom views, it doesn't support dark mode yet. But a lot of my apps do. Surprisingly, a lot of the apps just, especially the Apple ones, right? All of those just work by default. It was interesting. I was actually perusing some websites, and when I had dark mode installed, some website backgrounds turned black. So I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure if they have no body background color and they're just using the browser's default background color. I'm not sure, because those websites also had black text. So it totally didn't work.
Well, that's a good usability test there.
Yeah. Obviously this is beta 1, so I really didn't dig further into what was going on there. But I heard some people, already filing radars to have like a CSS media query for when dark mode is enabled, so that maybe based on if dark mode is enabled, Apple, you could serve up different, content or CSS styles, not content, but CSS styles for the user. So that could be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, especially considering that they're locking down Safari even harder.
Yes,
with their privacy and content controls.
Yes. So, lead in. Why don't you go with some of those new controls in Safari?
So, yeah, the general gist and idea is they're trying to make it harder and harder for websites and companies like Facebook to track users. So, all of our analytics are going to get a little less specific, a little more vague, so that pushing privacy forward. So I wonder if, the example you have with the media query stuff, it's very common for websites to use CSS to track people and using, browser tricks like that. So, even that's just a little bit of information. I wonder if they're going to be like, no, we're not going to do something like that just for, anonymizing people even more. Yeah, it's going to be. I'm very interested in how these, how this is going to affect people's share buttons and tweet buttons and.
Well, they explicitly called out tweet buttons and share buttons and like comment fields like discuss and Facebook comments and stuff like that. So they explicitly called those out in the keynote. So I thought that was very interesting. I'll be honest. I've been using Safari 12, but I actually haven't even played with any of those security things. I don't have any sort of tweet buttons or anything like that on my site. So, and share buttons. I'm just opening it up on my laptop now just to see if there's any different settings that have really changed. And really, the security fields in there are just the same. It's just worn fraudulent websites. So it doesn't even look like maybe you can't even turn that off. It's privacy. Even there, the website, that stuff just looks the same. Maybe they have in the websites, they have some more, content blockers, autoplay, page zoom. That's all the same. So it looks like I don't see any new settings for this stuff. Maybe they're just flat out just blocking it and that's it, So yeah, interesting. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah. Now, also in Safari, they have a bunch of new password stuff. So like, they kind of like, it looks like they kind of took in a lot of features like 1Password has, like stronger passwords. They'll alert you if you're using the same password across multiple websites, stuff like that. But what's cool is it looks like they also are opening up those APIs for third-party developers like 1Password for people that are using 1Password, so that you can get the seamless integration if you're using a third-party password tool like 1Password, which you should be using. I love 1Password. I think it's awesome. They recently released 1Password 7, which I'm all over. I love the UI. I love the new browser extension for 1Password. It is just amazeballs. So great work to the guys at Agile who released 1Password 7 last month. I think it was last month.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Anything that kind of like streamlines the development workflow, especially on the mobile device. Mm-hmm. I'm really looking forward to that password kill, because I must launch 1Password 24 times a day.
Yeah.
For various things. So.
Oh, and I have to say, so another cool thing with Safari is if you're in Safari and a ton of bank websites and other do like that two-factor authentication thing where they'll send you a text message. Well, now when that happens, and I did it twice today, I logged into my bank and it did the two-factor authentication. The text came through and Safari saw that and auto-filled it. I didn't even need to open up messages. Auto-filled that two-factor authentication key into the browser field for me automatically.
That's crazy.
That was super cool.
Yeah, I wonder how they know that it's, for this website, this phone number comes from this website kind of deal.
Yeah, I don't know. It came through and it didn't automatically fill. It gave me like a little pop-up, kind of like an autofill under the field, and then I had to click it to fill it into that field. So
I see. So
yeah,
it just detected it, and you have to actually put it where it goes.
Yes. But it had the little pop-up under the exact field that it needed. So
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I was surprised. It worked really well. It was very cool, because while that I understand for security reasons, but websites and banks and whatnot have that, it's annoying as hell from the end user perspective. So Apple doing stuff like that makes it really easy for people to make things more secure as well with the two-factor authentication.
Yeah, definitely.
And another thing I find, there's a lot of feature parity. Much more so now. So like I saw a lot of things like Apple released stuff for Mac. Or first they announced it for iOS, and then it was like, oh yeah, we also have that for Mac too. So it seems like they're getting closer to feature parity between the two OSs, which was awesome. And then they even announced that they're taking it further with integrating all of the new, they re-released a bunch of iOS apps like News and HomeKit, and I can't remember the third or fourth one. But basically, those now have Mac apps as well. And what that is it's basically the iOS app running on your Mac. And they explicitly said the Mac is not going to become iOS. It's just some apps you can now port over to the Mac. And they're doing it. Only Apple could do that now this year. And then in 2019, they're going to release the frameworks for developers. So that was kind of the thing that they gave us a sneak peek into the future of. And I think that's great. I think a lot of apps, not every app, can basically, port one-to-one over to the Mac, but I think something like News, it works really well. I do like it. I wish it was you could like add your own RSS feeds to it. It would kind of be cool. Yes, that would Sherlock a lot of RSS readers, but I personally would like it.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to? Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention was this new file format that they're pushing. I don't do much with AR, but it seems like Apple is really trying to push AR
Mm-hmm.
to a new level. I think
Yep.
trying to. They must think that industry must be the next big big social, big money driver, big user base driver, or whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of
is-
skeptics about it because, I mean, there's a lot of the AR apps are kind of gimmicky and people download tons of them, but then they never really use them, right? So,
Right.
now into the OS, Apple, has a new measurements app, which I've heard mixed reviews of so far in terms of its accuracy, right? It is in beta, right? But definitely mixed reviews in terms of its accuracy of measuring various things. But it looks pretty cool, and they're working with Adobe to do like some WYSIWYG AR stuff, which I don't fully grok or understand. To be honest with you,
I was trying to get at this new USD file format.
yeah.
I mean, I don't do anything with AR, but I know a lot of WeaverRadio users do various, architectural or other industries. So
Yeah, or real estate websites. There are a lot. I know quite a few WeaverRadio users that do like 3D architect, design stuff. And this could potentially be something interesting for them to have some sort of interactive AR thing on their website. Yeah, could be cool.
Yeah, because it embeds right there. It embeds on everything from, as they say, everything from Safari to Mail to the entire system is going to support it. So it's interesting. It's kind of like it kind of makes me think of like almost like an SVG for AR kind of thing. It's all, it seems like it's probably all vector based. So it's all works wherever. So.
Yeah, and apparently, like they've shrunken the file size down for like and it's by an insane amount. Like what was a file of like a gigabyte before is now like 80 megabytes or something, right? So apparently that this new file format that they've created is just like amazing. So
yeah, cool. You want to jump to iOS?
Yeah. What was your favorite thing in iOS?
My favorite thing in iOS. Probably the group notifications.
Yes, that's very cool. Yep.
Yeah, and I think the FaceTime, the group calling for FaceTime would be kind of nice because personal reasons we can, we can call, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
And
I should note that's also on the Mac though as well. So it is.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Cool.
So
that'd be good.
Yeah, that'll be very cool. The big kind of techie feature on there was Siri shortcuts. That was kind of the big techie thing on there.
The basically the what's that app?
Workflow. Yeah. So Workflow still exists. I'm unsure of the future of that because of these Siri shortcuts, but the Siri shortcuts are definitely kind of tied to Siri. I actually had lunch and was chatting with Ken Case of Omni Group. And that was his most exciting feature, and I'm excited to kind of see how they take it with OmniFocus, which is the task manager app that I use. And they're going to be integrating a bunch of stuff and playing around with Siri shortcuts so that you could automate a lot of that task management and stuff like that. So I was kind of interested in that and his perspective.
Totally forgot about that, but yeah, good point.
Yep.
Because that Safari feels like it could definitely do a lot more.
Yeah. I loved the new thing with like the parental controls and like analyzing of your time, like how much you use the iOS. I have 3 kids and they are straight up addicted. And I have to say a lot of times I find myself picking up my phone too much as well. Right. So, this will be good. Especially since as a father, I can control like how much time my son spends on Instagram or YouTube. Right. So that'll be really cool. And be like, you get an hour a day or I don't know how much, but, and as a parent, I can see his usage report. It automatically, I can automatically see that from my device. So that'll be interesting to see that. But my favorite number one improvement in iOS 12 is hands down performance. So I have an iPhone 6 and it just, I never got a new phone because I never wanted to pay $1,000 for a phone that when my iPhone 6 was fine, right? it did everything that I needed it to do. And time just went by, and all of a sudden they're at iPhone 10 now. But iOS 11 was dog slow on my iPhone 6. Like I wanted to get a new phone purely because it was so, like, to open up the camera app, which you would expect, like, fine if a third party app was slow, but you'd expect like an Apple app, like something simple like opening the camera would still be fast, because it's just opening the camera. Like, it's the same thing. That shouldn't really have changed since iOS, I don't know, whatever shipped on this phone, probably iOS 8. I don't remember. You would expect stuff like that to be fast. And in iOS 11, it was taking like 10 plus seconds just to open up the camera app for me to take a picture, right? And by the time it opens, it was like, oh, the time's passed, right? But in iOS 12, it is just instant. I open up the camera and boom, I can take a pic. And that is amazeballs. I love that. It is completely revitalized my iPhone 6. I was planning on getting a new phone this year, and but I mean, since my iPhone 6 is so fast now with iOS 12, I'm like, maybe I can live another year without spending $1,000 on a phone. I'm really happy with it. There are some things obviously my phone can't do, like it doesn't do ARKit and doesn't do live photos and a few other things that I would like to have from a geeky standpoint. But I don't know. I'm really happy with this phone. It does all the basics that I really need for a phone. I have an iPad Pro. So that does ARKit and does live photos and stuff like that. Even though I'm not one of the people that carries around the photo with their iPad as a camera.
I don't understand that either, but I do have to say I love live photos. It's great, especially having a little one.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
A lot of fun. You know how little kids are.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's like it's perfect for them because you capture the moment a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm glad you got I'm hoping to keep my phone. I have an iPhone X. I'm hoping to keep my phone for at least 4 years. So if that makes it so I can keep it, 5 years, then I'm even happier.
Sweet.
So,
yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I think the big one is watchOS, right? That's what I'm most nervous about.
Yeah. So watchOS 5. I think it's just, again, more refinements, nothing huge. It just makes things better and nicer. The one big thing is Watch 1's. That didn't sound right. The generation 1 of the watches aren't supported on watchOS 5. So that includes my watch. Does that include yours?
Yep. That includes mine.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Yep.
Kind of thinking about getting a new one anyway, because our watches aren't waterproof at all.
Yeah.
And you can get them wet, but they're like, they're kind of dodgy about it. I really didn't want to get a new watch because I feel like I want to have it for another 5 years, but I also feel like I don't want to think about, I got to take off my watch before washing my hands or giving the baby a bath or going for a swim.
I could also see it, nice not to have your phone, right? For some things, such as, one of the new features in watchOS 5 is you can now download and listen to podcasts, right?
Like this one,
like ours. Yeah. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great lead in, by the way, wasn't it? That was pretty classic.
Yeah,
I think that was a nice team effort there.
Yeah. Now you can listen to Joe on the go wherever you are. 24 hours a day.
Now, one thing I don't remember if it supports third party. Like, I don't use Apple's podcast app. I use Castro, which they just released version 3. I don't know if it will support, like, you can download theirs. I don't know. Hopefully, I think that'd be nice. But we'll see. Yeah. Another interesting thing for watchOS, and I have to say I'm kind of dreading this from a business standpoint, is you can now view web pages on your watch. Now, let me just tell everybody, please, on day one, don't be saying, I have this, web page that has, 5 sliders on it and it runs and loads really slow on my watch. And if your web page has, I don't know, let's just have some common sense about this, people, right? Like, you're on a watch, okay? Especially, this is like version 1.0. I don't know how things are going to look, how usable that really is going to be. I can't load watchOS 5 on my watch currently. Yeah, I don't know. Don't email me for quite a long time about that.
No, we laugh because we know it's true.
I know it's going to happen.
We love you, but
yeah.
I
can't upload a photo to Total CMS from my watch yet. What's going on? Yeah. It's going to happen.
I'm guessing it's going to be probably like one of the older iPhones where you kind of get the page and you kind of just scroll around and move around. It's going to be jaggedy. It's going to be not great, but I guess it's for like when you're out trying to get like a restaurant's phone number or something like that. And you bring up their website and then you could get the phone number and you could tap that and it calls it right from your watch. I think that's like, the use case that I could see.
I was trying to think of it as well. Like I'm thinking I have a stack called Agent that, will detect the device and then you can serve up custom content based on that device. And basically, it's like, maybe you do if someone's visiting this from a watch, like just serve up, here's our name, here's our phone number, here's our address, and that's it, or something like that. You know what I mean? And, don't serve up anything else, I don't know. I've thought about it for maybe all of like 10, 15 minutes tops. But yeah, definitely not a full blown, and even I'd say even Apple, while they announced that, they kind of, I don't remember if that was in the platform or if it was in the main keynote. But they definitely did, have reservations of, this isn't going to be fully functional web browser on your watch. Right. So
maybe they just disable all the JavaScript on the page and just do HTML, CSS kind of thing. And or maybe it's kind of like reader view and in Safari, and it just like strips out all that stuff.
All that stuff.
Content.
Yeah. I don't know. We're in the land of the unknown now, people. I don't know. I can't load watchOS 5 yet. So.
Yep, that's probably my biggest fears. Same reservations you do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last one is tvOS. I didn't really see anything in tvOS that was like groundbreaking. I obviously some minor tweaks in here and there, performance and 4K content and whatnot, but nothing groundbreaking, especially for RapidWeaver users.
Yeah, me either. Probably the main thing that just I keep an eye on is HomeKit, that kind of stuff, because I'm always trying to figure out. HomeKit has been around for a while and haven't really gelled for me completely yet. So
yeah. Oh yeah, the HomeKit's coming to Apple TV. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's coming to macOS. It's coming to macOS.
Oh, it's coming to macOS and Apple. It's already on Apple TV actually, I think. Yeah. I have a HomeKit app on my Apple TV already. I don't use it at all.
Yep. Right. I use it to monitor the air quality in my daughter's room.
Oh, okay.
So, but I'm trying to look for the next big thing there, because somewhere somehow there's going to be something there that I think is going to be a breakout for that, but nothing yet.
Cool. Well, I think wrapping up, I think we should say that I am running 10.14 Mojave. RapidWeaver 7 runs perfectly on it. Does RapidWeaver 6? I don't know. Actually, to be honest, here, let's not to put Dan on the spot here. I wouldn't expect RapidWeaver 6 to run, but here's RapidWeaver 6. Let's see. Drum roll.
Isaiah's going to have some work to do getting support for dark mode, huh?
Is it going to load? Oh, no. Okay. So you're going to have to get RapidWeaver 7, which I think is just fine, right? Because RapidWeaver 8's coming out anyway, and obviously both RapidWeaver 7 and RapidWeaver 8 already work perfectly inside Mojave, and you should be upgrading. Especially RapidWeaver 8's coming out. It's really cool. I love it. It will support dark mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember everybody. Mojave is going to be a beta when you get it first. If you're one of those beta testers, it's a beta. So keep that in perspective. That not everybody's running it. So, be kind.
Yes.
Be,
I didn't have any major issues. It was pretty clean update. I do have a few apps that don't work. That just crash on load. So, yeah, it's a beta, everybody. So
yes.
please be nice to developers. If you are loading the beta and their app doesn't work, don't go roasting them on Twitter and whatnot and forums. Just be nice. They're developers. Shoot them an email. They probably already know about their app on Mojave if they are a decent developer. So just be nice. They are people too.
Yes, we are. All right, Joe.
Cool. Let's wrap this up.
Talk to you.
Greg, where can everyone find you?
Chili Dog Hosting, chilidogsoftware.com, and at Barshard on Twitter.
Sweet. I am at Joe Workman everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, right? Head over to our community over on Weaver Space, www.weavers.space, and log in or sign up if you haven't. We have a community site for WeaverRadio over there as well. You can go ahead and post your questions, or you can email them to us at feedback@weaverradio.com. Please go ahead and leave us a review on iTunes if you are enjoying the show. And if you'd like to listen to any past episodes, you can do so in all of your favorite podcast app, or head over to weaverradio.com/archive, and you can watch or actually listen to any of the past videos. And thank you very much if you have been one of the 5,000 people that have downloaded our podcast. Well, one of the 5,000 downloads. So if you're one of those, thank you very much for making that this a success. I am loving it. I hope you are too, Greg.
I am having a great time, Joe. Thanks for all those 5,000 downloads.
Yes, sweet. Okay, guys, we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I didn't have the music ready. Damn it. Fire me.